What's up, Big? Which topic here you want to talk about?
Sure. I like to talk about the pro-choice one.
Sure, you think I should be pro-choice or pro-life?
I
Or
think pro-life.
presumably you're saying you believe I should be pro-life,
Yeah, I
right?
do. I do. Yeah.
Okay, why?
Well, I think I think we can see I guess we can like analyze death and why death is bad, and I think after some intuitive thought, I think we can arrive at the conclusion that the reason why death is bad is because someone will no longer have like a future, and basically, I think that the
Oh, no,
future.
I don't sign off on that.
Oh, you're not a fan of flow. I just
No,
think
I don't value a future. I value personhood.
you value personhood. So you value like the actualization of certain goods of consciousness.
I don't value actualization. I value being a person, the predicate of being a person. That predicate is valuable.
Why?
Why is an irrelevant question. I can just grant you it's
I
an
think
irreducible moral fact.
No, I could say that. I think that the thing that's true of that would also be true of the reason why this thing is valuable could also be true of perspective sentience or I think the reason why these
I don't
things
know if
are
that's what
valuable
you're
is
saying.
I think the reason why these things are valuable is because of the positive qualia, right? I think that the reason why being a person is valuable is because it means that you can experience things that are good
No,
for you.
I don't value personhood because of positive qualia.
What?
It's an irreducible moral fact that I value them.
But you don't value personhood because of positive experience.
No.
So why do you? Oh, I don't know. This just seems like
I value a person even if they only had negative experiences. They can report to me they've only had negative experiences, right? Because if what I valued was their positive experience and they don't have any positive experience, I'm not going to take the personhood away of a person or unalive a person given they have no positive experience. It's not the value of their experiences. It's the value of personhood that I have.
so just experience in general is sufficient for moral consideration, I guess.
Being a person.
But yeah, but being a person is just having experiences under your view, no?
No, I don't value unalive persons. They still had experiences,
Yeah.
right? They had have experience. I
Uh,
don't I don't value non-persons.
yeah, what's your definition of personhood?
Any entity that has current and past experiences,
Okay. So, and the reason, yes,
or even intentional states instead, you can say the same thing.
obviously, I guess we'd obviously define personhood differently. So I don't think that the reason why this thing has value is because it's under a semantic category. What's the?
Okay, well that's just equivocation. The point is under the sense I'm using the word. Like if you don't want to call it personhood, call it smershonhood. What I value is smershonhood. And smershonhood is having past and current experiences and or intentional states.
Yeah, and I'm asking why these things are valuable.
Oh, I already answered that. They're irreducible moral properties.
Okay, wait. So couldn't someone just say that they value future sentience, and then when you ask them why they valued future sentience, they could just say that it's an irreducible moral fact? Like,
Sure.
which is this whole debate just an intuition clash?
An
Yeah,
intuition class?
yeah, there doesn't seem.
Sorry, aren't you like a subjectivist or are you like some type of realist
No,
about your metaphysics?
I am a subjectivist. Yeah.
Okay, so then that's not a criticism. That's not criticism of my view. That's just saying that we have different values. Okay? Like there's nothing to critique from there.
It's wait. So
I have different moral perceptions. You have different moral perceptions.
but you're also
Right? Sorry?
you're also a subjectivist.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you think two subjectivists should engage in moral disagreement?
If they share the same values.
So if it's the case they don't share the same values, then there's just no point. Or
Yeah, if they have a background of values that entails some value, and they're having a disagreement about the entailment from the same set of values in the background, then they can validly disagree about certain moral properties. The thing is, if you're a particularist, you can probably just sidestep that.
all right, what about reductios? I guess. Do you have any reductios to the? I guess I could give you a reductio to your view. I don't know. Let's say
And by
that's
reductio, you just mean that the view is absurd given it's out of accord with my values? Because then yeah, I can just have a reductio for anyone by showing a large population of people who have my same values that you have different values that are irreducibly different. I don't understand what that's supposed to do.
my biggest issue with the conjunctive view that you hold is that I think that I don't think that basically 1 second of sentience. Let's say someone had a flash of sentience at conception, and then they don't get it until 20 weeks or whatever number you hold it at. Under your view, they would have moral value just because they had a second of sentience. I don't really see why a second
Yeah,
of
you don't
sentience
think
is sufficient
that?
to give someone rights, but just a lack of the second is not sufficient.
So you think at a second of experience they don't have rights? Is that your view, or am I
Well,
misunderstanding?
obviously, my view as a pro-lifer would just be having the capacity for experience would be sufficient. Yeah,
So, so wait. So the right to life is had of things with potential experiences.
yeah.
Okay, and does a sperm potentially have experiences?
No.
So sperm doesn't potentially fuse with an egg, become a fetus. It
Uh,
does potentially do that.
I guess I worded it poorly. I guess you could say a sperm doesn't have a future is a better way to put it. A sperm
And
by
by
itself is
future,
not
how is
sufficient.
that relevantly different from potential experience?
Well, future entails that this is going to be true of the entity itself, and it's not true of the sperm itself that it's going to have some sort of like future sentience, right? The sperm itself is not sufficient for this. Only the sperm in conjunction with the egg at fertilization would be sufficient for this.
Right. Why would I think that a sperm doesn't have possibly have a future?
I mean, like it's just biologically true that sperm by itself is insufficient to make like human life and therefore have like experiences.
Well, yeah, just like a fetus, taken away from the womb, right? Look, a fetus implicator it can't. It depends on things. I don't see how that's like relevant. Of course, just as a sperm is relevantly parasitic on, let's say, an egg for its potential future or possible future, so is a fetus on being connected in the womb to get nutrients from the mother. Yeah, sure. There's a set of dependency conditions that are must be had as the touchstone for qualifying that thing of their future. Okay, but that's true of a sperm just as it is of a fetus.
Okay, maybe I can word it a bit differently. The fetus is developing towards a future, in a particular sense, right? So it's developing towards like a particular future, and under my view, I think that morals are just concerned with the particular. It's not concerned with like the concept. Like a sperm, sure, sperm. You could say sperm is developing towards like the concept of sentience, but it's not. It's not developing towards like a particular sentience. And I think that we should be concerned with only like particular sentience.
I don't understand what the difference of concept versus particular sentience is that you're talking about.
Like it's the case that yeah, like sperm acts in ways that it can potentially fuse with an egg, and then once fused with an egg, it can develop into a person. But a sperm itself is not sufficient for this, right? It's not sufficient for this develop. Like a sperm itself is not developing towards this thing.
I don't understand what
Yeah.
you're saying.
All right. Like so, development is just basically like there are certain there are certain actions that a being will take in order to realize sentience. So if you look at a sperm by itself, you can see the actions that it takes is not going to be sufficient to develop sentience, right? Only the actions that the fertilized egg takes is going to be sufficient to develop sentience.
Are you saying because there's not another entity that is performing actions that then it's not morally relevant? Because that's I don't see how that's not true of the fetus again. Because the fetus requires the dispositions and actions of certain biological traits of the mother, like for her whatever the thing is that pumps nutrients into it.
Okay, well, like I guess like under like an animalist view, like the entity there's like a substantial change when the sperm and the egg meet, right? You see two separate entities go into one entity, and this entity is the same entity as like me or you, basically. So all I'm trying to
I don't know
say
what a
is that,
substantial difference there is supposed to mean
like some
because
difference
I don't.
in yeah,
Mhm.
like some difference in like immediate I guess capacity for certain things. Like like a sperm will never have the sufficient parts for like it's really impossible for a sperm to have the sufficient parts for sentience. I guess that's a better way of putting it. It is possible, so it's not true of a sperm to ever have the possibility of sentience, but it is true of the fertilized egg.
Wait, how's it impossible that a sperm has a future? I don't understand that.
Oh, I'm sorry, like biologically impossible. Like there's no like yeah, just like biologically like, it wouldn't happen. I don't mean it's like metaphysically impossible or anything.
Are you saying that it's inconsistent with laws of biology that a sperm has a future?
That a sperm could develop into a human, yeah.
What
Or
laws of biology regulate the ability for a sperm not to have a future?
having a brain.
And when a fetus doesn't have a brain, is it still moral that you abort them?
If a fetus will never develop a brain, yeah, you can abort them.
No, when a fetus does have a brain.
If a fetus does have a brain, can you abort them?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay, so I don't understand. Does a sperm potentially have a brain or potentially turn into an entity housing a brain?
So a sperm by itself does not have a brain now.
That's not what I asked. I asked, does a sperm potentially become an entity having a brain?
Sure, but it doesn't by itself develop into a. It doesn't by itself develop into a brain.
Okay, so why don't you value the potential for a sperm to transform into that other entity?
Because it's not developing towards a particular sentience. It's just developing towards like some concept of sentience.
No, look, you're saying that you value the potential for personhood of a fetus, and I don't understand why you don't value the potential for a sperm to be a fetus.
Because because I don't value like the potential for non-sentience. I value the potential for sentience. So if you're saying that the sperm has
Wait, but if the sperm has the potential to turn into a fetus, which transitively means it has the potential for a brain, then it just transitively would also have the potential for it would just transitively also have the potential for having, a brain or personhood.
a sperm does not have the potential to become a fetus, though. That's just not true.
A sperm doesn't have the potential to become a fetus.
Yeah.
So wait, so in real life, sperms do become fetuses.
Really? Can I have an example of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you? This is like you know what I'm talking about in basic biology. When a sperm and an egg combined, what do you think that becomes over time? A fetus.
A sperm by itself became a fetus?
Never said by itself.
Oh, okay. Well, then I think that there's
The question I asked you is, does a sperm have the potential to become a fetus?
Wait,
Not
no.
a sperm.
A sperm in
Yeah,
conjunction.
I didn't say a sperm I didn't say a sperm simplicator. Considering no other entities, does it have the potential to become a fetus? I never said that.
No, I said, okay, listen, a sperm by itself does not have the potential.
So the answer is yes. A sperm does have the potential to become a fetus.
No, a sperm in conjunction with an egg does.
And does a fetus in conjunction with nutrients have the potential to become, or is it just like a fetus, like without anything in conjunction? Like obviously there's a set of conditions that are necessary to qualify it of that potential, just like there's a set of conditions that are necessary to qualify the sperm of that potential for a fetus.
Yeah, but again, it kind of goes back to this idea of like particular versus conceptual. Like there's actually a particular like person that that the fetus is responsible for developing for, right? A sperm can penetrate any egg, or sorry, can fertilize any egg. So it could be the case that I don't value like positive quality. I don't value like any type of
I
positive.
don't even know what that means.
Wait,
Are you saying that the specific fetus is going to have specific experiences? Because
Yeah.
if the fetus has the ability to make choices, then its future as like it doesn't have a particular set of experiences. It has a set of possible experiences, just as the sperm would, depending on maybe the egg it goes to.
Like, no, sorry. It's developing towards like a particular psychological profile, I guess you'd say. Like a particular.
The psychological profile is just identical to the set of experiences an agent has, correct?
Yeah.
So then you're not saying anything different.
What do you mean? I'm saying.
Okay, so a fetus potentially has some particular set of experiences. They have
Mhm.
potentially a set of different experiences. They don't have. Okay, yeah, just that's true of a fetus too. They potentially have a set of different experiences they could have.
Wait, a sperm.
There's no particular psychological profile a fetus has prior to brain development, which is at that point you're saying you still value. What you're valuing is the potential for it to have some type of psychological profile.
Okay, maybe this is a better.
Right? You're just saying that there's a set of psychological profiles that fetus can have in particular. That's true of a sperm.
All right, wait. Can I ask a different question? Maybe like, do you think that me and you are the same person? Would you say?
No,
Okay, why not? What's true of you that's not true of me?
a set of different predicates.
Set different predicates, and what's that? And what predicates are those?
Well, I have the predicate of wearing glasses. Do you?
Sure.
You have the predicate of wearing headphones?
Yeah. Like, wait. Is it? Wait. Let's say.
Sorry, JBL. They're JBL. So
No. Let's say it's the case that every like all the things that you're wearing right now, I'm wearing. Would we still be different people?
I'm asking you. I'm not. It's not a fact of the set of things I'm wearing. I'm talking about the set of predicates you have. If X and Y satisfy all the same predicates, then they're identical. Now, if Y is wearing glasses and X is not, then they're not identical.
Yeah, so I'm okay. Imagine someone who looks exactly like you, who wears everything that you would wear. Would there still be a predicate that you have that is not true of that person?
Yeah, trivially, where we're located in space, he's not standing at the same place in the same point in time, right? So at interval X, right, at time T, where am I? I can have the predicate at standing, I don't know, in New York, and someone else can have, the predicate of being located, maybe even just like an inch or 3 inches away from where I'm standing. Whatever, they can have some specific spatial geography, right? And they can have the predicate of having that spatial location. Yeah, so trivially, we have different predicates.
So under this view, wouldn't you say that you are not the same person that you were 3 seconds ago? Because you have a different location in space.
Yeah.
You don't think that that's like unintuitive to most people? To say that like It's the case that I'm not the same person that I was like a
Look,
second ago.
what you're making right now is like some critique of personal identity, right? Right now, I wasn't. There's okay. If you're talking about personal identity, yes, I also cash out. I never disagreed about my personal identity. It's made up of my psychological profile, and I don't understand. You're saying is the view that my identity is made up of the predicates I satisfy counterintuitive to most? Like, no. Traditionally, I think this is like what most metaphysicians have the view of. So maybe folk. I don't know about the empirical programs that researched or sampled the set of people to know the intuitions of people. But why would I care if majority of people had different intuitions? What would that do for me? I never made the argument my view is intuitive. So if it were intuitive, that's not doing anything for me unless trying to do a reductio, which again, you would just still have to have empirical support. Most people just have some clashing intuition, which, okay, I can just grant you, even though I don't have the empirics. For sake of argument, I'll just grant it's counterintuitive to most.
Do you think that it's possible for two individuals to have the same psychological profile, or is there always going to be like some like small difference?
Of course, two persons can have the same psychological profile. Doesn't make any sense. That's like not even logically possible.
Sorry, you said that they can't.
Yeah, they cannot have the same psychological profile.
Okay, so I guess what I'm saying is that the fetus is developing towards a particular set of psychological profiles. That is not true with the sperm, because the sperm can develop into like
Why would I believe that?
because the sperm can't, isn't it true that the sperm by itself it can fertilize any egg, and if this is the case, it could develop into a much larger domain of psychological.
I don't understand.
True of the fetus.
So you're saying that for a fetus, it doesn't has a potential set of particular experiences. How's that not true of a sperm?
Because a sperm can fertilize any egg, so this set would be significantly larger, and it would
Yeah,
just
and a fetus can do any look. A baby can do any action. It can choose to walk left or right, and that influences its psychological profile.
Are you free will? You believe in free will?
Libertarian. I mean, sorry, not libertarian. But even under that account, that doesn't do anything to save that. The compatibilist notion of free will is compatible with determinism, right? Descriptively, then there's not a substantial difference between determinism and free will.
Wait, what about
So yeah, you can still freely choose to like do some given action. So you potentially have a different psychological profile. What I do in 5 minutes can be different.
yeah.
I have a set of possible choices I could undertake.
Under a hard biological determinist view, couldn't you say that it's true of the fetus that it could only have one psychological profile?
Wait, so then if that's what you're saying, right? I could just do a stalking horse objection and say, well, this particular sperm has some biological determination to go to a particular egg, which would then have a determined psychological profile.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Damn. Okay. Okay. I guess I got to read up more, but I appreciate you for the conversation.
By the way, I've never read an abortion in my life. I literally just watched a couple of friends like a couple weeks ago, and this is like my second debate on the topic today. This is like the fourth time I've ever talked about it. Normally, I just debate philosophy or religion, but yeah, I'm not that good either.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway.
In fact,
Yeah.
I need to bring my champion here. Where is she? I gotta get Anne up here. She's the one who wanted me to debate this topic so bad. She was crying about it. All right, well, peace, yeah. Where's Anne? She said she was going to teach me too how to debate abortion, and she never did. So I just ended up debating because Mob told me to.
They have a lot of classes right now.
Yeah, I only had one class today, so.
Yeah, it must be nice. I'm still waiting. Like, I have an hour until my last class.
No, it's not nice. Look, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. Guess what time I start school at?
8 a.m.
No, I start at 9:25. But guess what time I get out?
6 p.m.
Well, I get out at 6:30. Yeah, that's late as hell.
Yeah, welcome to college, bud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're talking about I'm having it easy. I don't have it easy. My workload is insane, especially from college writing. It's like 3 essays every week.
Well, if only I could show you what I have to do every week. That's not fun, bud.
Well, look, I actually have more because I already started early on my dissertation, so
Oh,
stop crying.
that's crazy because I finished mine like a week ago.
Exactly. So why you're more privileged? You have way more time on your hands. In fact, I'm working on two dissertations at the same time right now.
Look, I'm working on my defense thesis right now, so I'm not really sure what you're on about.
Well, actually, I'm in honors classes. Plus, I just started my third dissertation.
Oh, okay. Well, then maybe you might have more than me, just barely.
Yeah. I'll let the numbers speak for themselves. But Anyways, let's tap the screen and share the live. Try and get someone up here. I just realized my phone's on 18%. Damn,
You're
I should have
home,
charged
right?
my phone. I didn't even realize. Yeah, I'm home.
Okay. I'm probably gonna like disconnect here in a second because I'm getting off the Wi-Fi.
No, don't run away.
No, hold on.
No way the champion's here. I was just talking about you. Yeah, she's not talking.
Oh my gosh, is that Ann Bestie Westie?
I don't know. We gotta hear the voice.
Guys,
see if it
everybody,
is.
this Ann person on the panel, that's my Bestie Westie. Everybody be nice or else.
And we could hear you. Well, now you're paused.
Oh shit, it's working now. What's good? What's good?
I was telling you how you're my champion.
What does that even mean?
You're the champion of abortion.
It means that Monkey Boy is a big fan of Ann debates.
I remember when Don started running the like percentians and the like, you have an obligation to have an abortion if you have harmed the fetus like before sentience.
Okay,
And
anti-natalism W?
Okay, calm down. And everyone was like, oh my god, that's such a crazy view. I was like, bitch, I've been running this view for like, I don't even know how long.
Yeah, Don
Yeah.
loves stealing credit.
You just gotta bring all the ops to the correct side.
That's crazy.
So, Don, I heard you've been watching Peak Piece lately.
I've been watching what? Peak piece?
Peak Piece.
You mean mid piece?
Sorry, can you repeat that? Oh, he dropped before he could repeat it. That's unfortunate. But anyways, yeah, Don, have a great time with Peak Piece. It's been really, I know you've been enjoying it a lot. Best TV show. Oh, he's back. Okay.
Yeah,
now my earbuds are working.
My internet disconnected. Sorry.
No, yeah. I saw you had one bar.
Yeah.
So
I'm-
Peak Piece
my-
has
my
been going good.
dissertation-
You finished your dissertation. Continue.
Yeah, my dissertation, my thesis are about aesthetic facts, and one of the arguments I brought up was about how One Piece just doesn't objectively satisfy the aesthetic facts, and I had to give.
Yeah,
I
are
wrote
you
like a
allowed to
50
lie on your
page-
dissertation or what?
Are you asking me that? I don't have a dissertation.
Are you? You're not allowed to devil's advocate on your dissertation. I don't think.
Devil's. What do you mean?
Wait, yes, you can.
Sorry.
Like,
What's the
ironic,
argument?
but yeah, you can. Wait, you know Kane, right?
Sorry, by no there you mean what? Like
You
a
have to
justified
justify
belief?
true belief devoid of any genuine defeaters about some entity in the world called Kane Baker.
No, sorry. And by genuine defeater, what is the predicate genuine doing there? What weight does it have?
Yeah. A genuine defeater is just some true proposition that, when added to a subject's set of beliefs.
Sorry, you keep disconnecting. I'll bring you back up, but yeah. Anyways, you obviously don't know what you're saying, so I don't want to
That's
get hung
crazy.
up on that point.
Justice for
So
Don.
no, he disconnected. Let's just move past it, anyways. Yeah, come on. Let's tap the screen, share the live. Try and get someone up here.
Do you
Don's
think
not
you
looking
look great
good.
now?
Someone has
It
to
looks
swoop
like
in and
all
take
you're
him.
this to my
doing- All you're
bestie.
doing is obfuscating, bloviating, and prevaricating.
Yeah, someone
crazy.
has to swoop in and save him. Come on. Yeah, by the way, I'm
Okay.
best friends with Kane. Rebecca's
Oh
right.
yeah, that's right. That's true. My bad, I forgot. Okay,
You're so forgetful.
Rebecca
I
is
don't
best
like
friends
that.
with Kane.
let's talk about why you're confused about subjective idealism.
Sure, let's just clarify what you mean by I'm confused.
Yeah,
wait, we got.
false and obviously false belief. We can talk about this later.
No, that's obviously not true.
Not
We
Mari.
got something more interesting. Yeah, unfortunately, Mari.
Yeah, I see you're pro-choice.
Mm-hmm.
You're atheist and
Yeah, because I'm pro-aborting potential Maris.
Look, Mari, if you're here, Monkey Boy affirms an argument like this, right?
I
Abortion
said
is wrong
Mario,
if
like
God
the plumber.
exists.
So don't get the wrong idea.
Premise 2, God doesn't exist. Conclusion, abortion isn't wrong. How do you feel about that?
so premise 1 is God doesn't exist. Premise 2,
No. Premise 1 is abortion is wrong if God exists. Premise 2 is God doesn't exist. The conclusion is abortion isn't wrong. Now, what do you think about Monkey Boy's argument?
By the way, I just want to sign off. Yeah, it's true that me and King B are I'm his fiance, so continue.
Yeah, okay.
wait, so like, what's gonna be like your argument that like because God
Ian's the
exists?
best man, by the way. Continue.
Yeah, so like, what's gonna be like your argument that if God exists, like abortion is wrong?
Well, to deny it just leads to the impossibility of the contrary.
At least to the possibility of contrary. Why is that?
Don said he's going to defend this view.
Okay, yeah. So basically, you know, the premise about the impossibility of the contrary is just going to be justified by an argument in which, look, you just take all of the possible worldviews and you put them in disjunctions in which each of the possible worldviews has a separate predicate that's not satisfied by another worldview. And so we need to check to see which worldview, with the differences in predicates, satisfies the actual world as it should be. And so when we actually just look at it, all of the theistic worldviews don't satisfy any of the predicates in the naturalistic worldview.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody like better at yapping than that, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so basically,
Have you heard this one guy named Sacred?
Maybe.
God is the idea of all ideal conceivable ideas.
Don't make fun of him. He says everything right, unlike your like objective value view. Continue.
That's right. My bad.
By the way, I've been asking Sacred a lot, like questions to help write my dissertation. So I believe strongly it's going to be powerful.
Yeah, that sounds like it's already going to be like really, really good.
Yeah, I know.
It's good prep.
Okay, Mari, so let's go ahead with the argument. Which of these premises do you reject, both in the original argument and in the counter argument, the sub argument?
well, I disagree with the I guess you could say the contrary of the first premise. Do you truly believe that if God doesn't exist, that abortion isn't wrong?
Sorry, wait, what?
Like your first
What was
premise
the
is
question?
that if God exists, abortion is wrong. So that means you truly don't believe that.
No, you got it wrong. The antecedent is abortion is wrong. The consequent is if God exists.
The consequences if God exists.
Yeah,
Well, that's your first premise though.
yeah. It's you know what a conditional is?
Well, I
Kind of
know
an
what
end statement.
I know what a conditional is, but so basically you're telling me that if God isn't real, then abortion is not wrong.
Yeah. At least in this argument, yeah.
Yeah, and I disagree with that.
Okay, so you're just disagreeing with what, premise 2 or the conclusion?
Premise 2?
Okay, so you're disagreeing with the premise that God doesn't exist. Okay, what's your argument for God existing?
Wait, would you say Don Marx?
Yeah, I said, sure, if you disagree with premise 2, then what's the argument for God's existence?
What's the argument for God's existence? So why do you want to debate God? I want to debate abortion.
Look, do you remember what the argument was? I gave
Yes,
you a
I-
valid argument, and if you can't contend with any of the premises or show me it's invalid, I'm just going to take it that it's a sound argument, and then you're just conceding.
Wait, but that's the burden of proof is on you. You have to prove that God doesn't exist. 'Cause that's your argument.
Sorry, that's not true. Look, if you reject one of the premises, this is how you can reject the premise, right? You can either, 1, say premise 2 is false, or say 2, premise 2 is unmotivated. And if you think premise 2 is unmotivated, then I can give you some motivation for thinking theism is false.
Okay, so what's going to be like your argument that theism is false?
Okay, sorry, just to be clear, which one of those two things are you doing? Are you saying premise 2 is false, or are you saying premise 2 is unmotivated?
Well, I'm saying
So
that
just to be
premise-
clear, are you agnostic on if God doesn't exist?
No,
you
I affirm that God exists. But
Okay, so
you
you're saying
are
premise
making
2 is false. So why is premise 2 false?
premise 2 is false because God exists.
Yeah. What's the argument for that?
Well, you're making a negation.
Sorry. You said premise 2 is false, which means there's reasons to believe premise 2 is false. Presumably, you can give me those reasons.
Okay, well, the reason why premise 2 is false is because God exists, and this is obvious because,
Look,
well,
that's not the reason. That's just to say that premise 2 is false.
no, I'm giving you my argument. I give you my argument.
Okay.
So basically, the universe was created. Therefore, it has a creator. Oh, no, the universe is created. Premise 2 has a creator. Therefore, God exists.
Okay, so your argument is, P.
Bless you.
So premise 1 is P, premise 2 is Q, and the conclusion is R. Okay,
No,
so-
that's not really true, because I mean,
do you
God
mean
is
it's not really
God is the creator. So,
Okay, well, you need to actually give justification for that. Why is that true?
well, that is true because if there is a creator, right, like if the universe is created, it was created with a purpose. Purpose can only
Wait.
entail
What's the
a
argument for
mind.
that?
You just gave
Wait,
a conditional. Yeah.
I didn't even wait. Hold on, I didn't even finish my arguments. You asking me my argument for my
Look, I
first
just want
premise.
justification for these very bold assertions you're making.
Well, wait, but I didn't even give my conclusion yet. You didn't have
The
even
universe,
seen.
look, this is what you just said. This was premise one of a supporting argument you gave. If the universe was created, then it was intentionally created. What's the argument for that?
Wait. I haven't even given you my conclusion. How can you
Okay,
like?
I don't even need the conclusion right now. I just need to know the motivation for that premise. Otherwise, the argument's also just going to be false for different reasons than validity's sake.
Well, the reason being, okay, so the reason why I say it must have had a purpose for it is because we see that everything in the universe is organized, and organization entails purpose. Therefore, the universe was created with a purpose.
Okay, so organization entails purpose. What's the argument for that?
Yeah, the argument for that is that we accept that. Wait, you don't accept that as true?
Look, I can be agnostic about whether that's true or not.
I just think this is going to be like self-evident.
Okay, well, it definitely doesn't seem self-evident.
For instance, let me give you an example of organization, like the laws of logic. Do you think that doesn't entails any type of purpose?
Look, to be clear, before we go down another rabbit hole, I just want an argument for that premise.
Wait, because I don't see the point of us arguing if you accept that premise, like, and you accept it, and that's why you don't. That's why you don't want to argue
about the premise.
You're not okay. If you're agnostic, then I'm sorry, but you're just going against like intuition.
Okay.
Wait, he's going against whose intuition?
I just think like this is like for instance, it's self-evident that 2 plus 2
Well, I
equals.
asked a question. He's going against whose intuitions?
Human intuition. I just think this is self-evident. Like it's self. It's self. Hold on, Ann. It's self-evident that 2 plus 2 equals 4. If
Girl,
someone,
answer the question.
I don't know
I'm
why you want me
asking
to answer this
what
question.
what humans' intuitions is it going against yours?
Mine's, his, yours,
Okay,
all of ours.
do you grant that
What?
Don Marx is a human?
Wait,
Yeah,
you said
yeah.
it goes against his. You already said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're making
Yeah.
strong things about my own psychology. I wonder how you're going to prove that burden.
Well, so I can prove it right now. Answer my question.
No. Let's
Do
not
you
do that.
believe?
Let's-
Wait, no,
let's
I can.
have
No,
you-
I can
let's
prove
just
it, Don
have you-
Marx.
No,
I can
let's just
prove
have you
it.
answer first. Let's have you answer Anne's question, and then you can go down this rabbit hole.
Okay,
Yeah, do you
Ann.
grant that Don Marx is a human?
Yes.
Okay, so it's going against at least one human's intuition. So
Yeah.
how is it defined that it is in fact human intuition? If you at least have 3 cases here, me, Don, and monkeyboy,
Basically, that this is accepted. Like this is self-evident. That like this is
Accepted
just.
by-
To be clear, I don't
you?
grant Anne's a human, but continue.
girl, mind your
So-
business.
Yeah, no. This is. What do you mean? This is accepted. This is accepted by intuition.
Yeah, by your intuitions, but not the rest of the people
Accepted
here,
by intuition. What
and
does
not
that
by
even mean?
atheists.
Do you understand that self-evident truths are in themselves circular? They don't deserve any further justification.
Is that-
What
is
does
that
it
you
mean
think
for it to be?
circular is?
What? Look,
For it to be-
something can't be
There's so much
circularity.
confusion
There's no
here.
circularity in truth. Circularity is a property of reasoning.
What? Circular? No, that's not true. I think
Yes.
so. So, for instance, when we use like, if I ask you to prove logic existing, right? You're gonna use logic to do so. Or you can't use logic without like proving logic. So logic in itself is like a foundational principle. It's gonna be circular in nature.
I take it
Do you
logic's
think
a noun,
logic-
not a predicate.
Yeah.
Look,
So
just
when
to
you
be
say
clear,
logic exists, I don't even know what that means, but
even if I'm very charitable to what you're saying, which right here is just incoherent babble, but if I'm very, very nice about this, what I would just say is that, no logician is going to try doing that thing that you just ascribed to do, right? Nobody's going to try proving logic, whatever that means, with logic. It just seems like very weird, very odd to do. This is kind of what Gödel talks about in his incompleteness theorems.
So you're telling me whenever explaining meta logic, you don't need logic to do so?
And by logic there, do you mean the first order language?
Sure.
Okay, so you have a category error trying to explain second order languages with first order language.
How is it a category error?
What do you mean, how is it a category error? Do you understand the difference between first order languages and second order languages?
First order languages just deal with the first laws of logic. I mean the laws of logic.
Oh my gosh, there's so much confusion here. I don't even know where to go.
Wait, what? How am I confused about that? That's literally what first order logic is.
You think first order logic is just about, you know, what is it? Law of identity, law of like excluded middle and non-contradiction?
Yes,
Is that all you think it is?
yes.
Oh my gosh, there's just too much confusion. I don't even know what to do. Look, it's very simple if you know what logic is. Logic is a system created for helping preserve truth values in our, you know, kind of semantic goals, you know, things like arguments, stuff like that. And the kind of things that we can do with logic, you know, if you knew anything about logic, you would know that there's many different types of logic, and logic has changed over time. For instance, the classical logic that we talk about now is derivative of Aristotelian logic, which doesn't actually hold the, you know, same laws that we do today. And
Yeah.
then what's meant by law there, you know, is not anything very substantive. They're just axioms of the system. So just take something like the law of identity, and that just means, you know, A equals A. And all we're pointing out there is that whenever we just list a set of properties, whenever we list, you know, that exact same set of properties, we're just also, you know, we're just talking about the same object in the world.
Okay.
Right. That's what it means to have identity in that sense. But that's only with reference to kinds of properties and propositions, you know, things in our semantic tools, right? And then we can talk about, you know, laws of excluded middle. Now those I'm actually not super familiar with, but there's a lot in depth there. You can talk about, when it comes to excluded middle, what does it mean to say, you know, something is the case or it's not the case? Well, long story short, what it means to say something is or is not the case is just to talk about the kind of bivalent conditions that we have within the formal system itself, and what we allow the kind of truth value to be assigned. So, you know, for classical logicians, we take the law of excluded middle and we accept that. But for intuitionists, they actually reject the law of excluded middle. And they don't want to say that, you know, it either is or it's not the case. They want to give some, you know, wiggle room for very vague cases. And then what's the other one? Identity, non-contradiction. Non-contradiction is just to say, well, within the formal system itself, literally all it means to say not P, like P and not P, is just to say that whenever you assert not P, you're actually just removing P from the, you know, dialectic at hand.
Okay.
That's all that means there. And then, okay, so that's the first order language, at least for, you know, classical logic. But remember, this is just the set of rules for a logic system. We haven't even talked about the other systems, like trivalent logics or intuitionist logics, like those things, Perkin system logics. Okay, now just take the second order languages. The second order language for a kind of classical logic is just to say, like, okay, well, how do we know that, you know, the first order language of classical logic is the logic that actually best fits our kind of propositions, right?
So
And
the second, so the
that seems
second,
to be,
so the second order
what's up?
language is basically just questioning the validity of the first order.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like in that sense, it doesn't make sense to say that you want to use first order language to solve second order language problems.
Well, ultimately, I mean, the second, when it comes to the second, well, at least from my understanding of what you just said, if second order language is the questioning of the first order language, you are going to use the first order language to do so. Like, the second order languages are just the stance and the questions on the validity of the first order. Well, ultimately, you're going to use the first order anyway. Like, if I try to prove that, let's say the law of identity isn't valid or isn't, I guess really isn't I guess you could say it's not real in whatever sense you want to use that as, not real, whatever, in whatever way you think. That person is going to have to use logic to do so, because most likely this person is going to use a syllogism. And because this person is using a syllogism, he is ultimately subjecting himself to truth, and truth asserts or insinuates some type of law of identity. So that's
I
what
don't know how that's true.
or maybe okay. Well, maybe a syllogism would until if someone tried to.
Wait, we're talking about syllogisms now?
No, I'm saying if someone tried to invalidate first order logic, like the law of non-contradiction, if they make an argument for why the law of non-contradiction is valid, they're going to be using the law of non-contradiction.
No, they wouldn't. They would give cases where that kind of principle wouldn't hold up, right? Just take certain Perkin system logicians like Grand Priest. Like the case he wants to give for why the law of non-contradiction doesn't hold up is a kind of, you know, liar's paradox, where it's just something like, you know, this sentence is false. Okay, well, without the long, you know, rant about the liar's paradox, just assume that there's a solution to the liar's paradox. Well, now there's this thing called the revenge liar's paradox, which just solves the issue that's, you know, pointed out. Oh my gosh, hold on, my headphones about to die.
Yeah, same. I'm actually gonna get my charger.
Look, I don't want to go down like I've actually thought about it. I don't want to go down this long jibber jabber about logic. The point is that all you have to do to show that a logic system, doesn't work is just to take cases and show that, the cases about certain logics don't match our intuitions, and that's it.
So so then can you answer my question, Mr. Don? Does logic and do you agree? What was the thing that I said was self-evident?
I don't even know. It was some, jibber jabber ramble about something that wasn't even relevant to the topic on the screen.
Well, it wasn't jibber jabber rambling. We were following a dialogue tree. And so with that being said, I guess we're not gonna go down the jibber jabber of, proving that logic is like self-evident or not self-evident. It was like some claim that I made. I said was self-evident. Logic was self-evident. I don't think that was a claim I made. Oh yeah, that logic, logic entails purpose.
No, it wasn't logic. It was organization.
Oh yeah, organization entails purpose. So do you disagree with that?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah, obviously.
Would you say like logic is some type of organization?
Yeah, a logic is a kind of organization, sure.
Okay, so does logic entail purpose?
Yeah, logic does entail a kind of purpose.
So then you can wait. So then how can you say that organization? How can you say that organization doesn't entail purpose when you agree that logic is some type of organization and logic entails some type of purpose?
Yeah, this is a very obvious composition fallacy. Look, just because the parts of a whole act in a certain way does not mean the whole acts in a certain way. So it's not actually the case that organization, the whole in question, is something that entails, purpose. But it is the case logic, which is a kind of organization, entails purpose.
Composition fallacy? That's a real thing?
Yes.
Help. Oh my god.
There's no way.
Look,
Notice how you're running from the
all
main
you've
conversation,
done is
Don.
blunder proposition after proposition over and over. You're getting intellectually blown the fuck out right now.
Okay, sure. You can say I'm getting intellectually blown the fuck out right now. That doesn't really mean anything to me, right?
Okay, so you can see that you're downward doggy getting these intellectual backshots over and over.
Bro, what? What are you talking about, bro?
Look, that was a yes or no question.
Like, I mean, so if that's a real fallacy, I would. Is that like some material fallacy? Is that a formal fallacy? Like
Composition fallacies?
yeah, the composition fallacy. Is that
It's a kind of formal fallacy.
okay? All right,
It's not a dialectical fallacy like, what is it, ad homs and things like that. It's not that kind of thing.
Okay, all right, I see. I mean, I never heard of it, but I guess I'm gonna have to look into it. Well, if that's the case, then
Look, you can
Not
put it
a
this
very
way. Like,
difficult
look,
concept.
like pepperoni pizza. You know how like regular pepperoni pizza comes from, like Papa John's, right?
yeah.
Just a regular one that's round or something, and it's like sliced into like 12 pieces or whatever.
Uh-huh.
So you can say the pizza is round, right? But if you take an individual slice of the pizza and then you go, this is pizza, therefore it's round. Well, obviously the slice is triangular in nature.
Okay, I feel you. I see. All right, I understand.
Yeah, so we can just, return to the previous dialectic that might actually prove your case here. What's the argument God exists?
Well, we can't go that far. We have to stop where we left off, where I said organization entails purpose. You really don't believe organization entails purpose, so like, what's going to be like your argument for that?
Look, I just told you I'm like
It's
agnostic
just shifting the
about
burden of proof.
He's agnostic on it.
Look, your claim was that it entails purpose, right? And he asked you what's the argument for that, right? Say he doesn't have a belief about the matter, right? What is your reasons to believe that?
Your reasons that don't end in a composition fallacy, by the way.
Okay, sure. Well, okay, fine.
No, it's actually better when it results in a composition fallacy.
Okay, you're done, bud.
Well, if that's the case, then I mean, organization entails purpose because there would be no point of everything being organized. I just think, like you said earlier, the contrary is impossible. The contrary is impossible.
Under what modality? Is it logically impossible?
Yes, it's logically impossible. It's logically impossible.
So it's logically impossible if something is organized without purpose?
Yes.
What's the contradiction?
something's organized and organization entails purpose.
That's just question begging.
How is that question begging? If that's true.
The reason to believe that if there's organization, there's purpose, is because it's impossible that there's organization without purpose. So then when asked, what's the contradiction in there being organization without purpose? You just said, because if there's purpose, or if there's organization, there's purpose.
Well, it's probably question begging, but hey, 2 + 2 = 4 is 4. If someone asks me, hey man, what's your argument that it's not? I'm gonna say, well, because it is. This is how it is. There's no getting around that. Right?
Why?
So
I don't even know what you're saying right now. So if someone asks you what's the argument 2 + 2 = 4, you said you would respond with what?
that if you have two things, you put another two things, it's gonna equal 4 things.
How's that an argument? That just seems to be repeating, like, mathematical inference that they're asking to give the argument for.
Well, that's the argument.
The argument is just reasserting the thing they asked for an argument for?
Yeah, because the thing is self-evident. That's why.
Yeah? What does self-evident mean?
That it's obvious, that it doesn't need no further justification, that the conclusion is not justified by anything. It's true.
Well, presumably, let's say it's not obvious to them, right? That's why they asked for the argument. So then what's the answer to that? What's the argument? It's obvious what the argument is. That's what you're telling them?
Well, then I would just say
You're not
that
providing
person.
them an argument.
Well, then I would just say that person is an idiot and they need to go back to kindergarten. If it's not obvious that 2 + 2 = 4.
But look, by self-evident, you just meant it's obvious. The argument's obvious.
Yeah, I would just say that person does not have a prefrontal
But you
cortex.
obviously haven't presented the argument. So what argument there is obvious?
No, I'm saying the conclusion is obvious.
And okay, so if now you're making some weird, like, some type of like physiological claim that if they don't believe it's obvious, then that entails that they have like some brain deformity.
Yeah, because it's obvious that 2 + 2.
something.
Yeah, because it's obvious that 2 + 2 = 4.
Wait, but by obvious, I don't understand. If it's not obvious to them, then what is saying it's obvious going to do?
Well, number one, this is just universally accepted as self-evident. And with that being said, if someone comes along to me, I don't know.
Well, no, in the hypothetical, it's stipulated it's not universal, given one particular agent is saying it's not obvious to them. So look, if someone asks, if you said 2 + 2 = 4, and they ask what's the argument for that, you're not going to present an argument. You're just going to say, that's obvious to me that it is the case, but they're asking for the chain of reasoning for why they should believe that. Now, saying it's obvious that you should believe it doesn't actually provide them the reasons.
Well, okay, the reason I would say is because it's just self-evident.
But even let's say they're even like, let's say they do believe the conclusion. And they happen to ask for an argument. Maybe the conclusion is obvious, but that doesn't mean the reasoning, the chain of reason in which you inferred the conclusion is obvious.
Well, I mean, circular logic in itself isn't always a fallacy. You're right.
Circular logic? You mean circular reasoning?
Yeah, circular reasoning isn't always like fallacy. It's not always bad. Do you disagree that there's certain things that are self-evidently true?
I would say it's always a fallacy insofar as if the aim is to provide a reason for someone to believe some proposition, and the reasoning is constitutive of the conclusion that's being inquired for the reason for, then given they're already unconvinced of the proposition you aim to justify, then the justification possessing the proposition they're asking for the justification for is errorous insofar as it doesn't actually doesn't introduce any sui generis reasoning.
So is it logically true or nomonomically true that...
Is it nomonomically true?
Nomonomically possible that...
Do you mean nomologically?
Yeah, nomologically, yeah. Nomologically, it's possible that someone doesn't accept that 2 + 2 = 4.
Look, I think you're still confused about what's being said there. But
Yeah, look, it's under whatever semantics. Look, yeah, like trivially, there's no inconsistency with the law, any laws of physics, that someone is of the belief that 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. What law like stipulates that there must be, right?
Well, because I don't see any possible world where someone just comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, like I'm genuinely not convinced that 2 + 2 = 4." If they're using the word 2 the way I'm using the word 2, there is no possible way that someone could just deny that 2 plus 2 equals 4 and tell me that 2 plus 2 equals like 57 million or something like that. Like, there's no way.
Look,
Look,
hold
yeah, go
on.
ahead.
I think really quick that look, it's going to be very obvious. Well, for one, I think people do that today. Just to be clear, I think there are very stupid people out in the world that will actually say that. So there's no normological contradiction. But if I'm actually taking what you're saying seriously, yeah.
By the way,
I
Don,
mean,
that was kind of rude to throw in under the bus there, but continue.
oh yeah, my bad.
Girl, what? What just happened? He's not listening.
If I want to take what you're actually saying is, look, I think what you're saying is most people who grasp the axioms of a kind of mathematical a mathematical formal system in which they use a base 10 system, yeah, most people are going to just grasp that 2 plus 2 equals 4 foundationally. And just to be clear, things that are foundational are very different than things that are circular. So self-evident things are not circular, like by definition. But two, you can just give another example where you say something like, oh, well, okay, 1 divided by 3. Somebody might say, oh, that's like, 0.33. People will disagree with you on that answer. Like a lot of mathematicians will disagree with you, even though a lot of mathematicians grasp the kind of axioms of the formal system. And these mathematicians will even disagree with each other. And then you can talk about certain other functions that may not be very clear. You can talk about pi, and how that kind of works in a mathematical system. You can talk about irreal numbers. Those are like irrational numbers.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Well, I see.
But yeah, all that to be said is just to talk about formal systems there. We don't
Don,
need
what
to
are
invoke
you?
any kind of ontology stuff. What am I
What?
I was just asking, what else are you putting in your soup?
In my soup?
Look, man. I mean,
Yeah, so I know you put carrots and Mari. What else is in the soup?
Oh,
yeah,
you also
whatever.
want to put celery, garlic, and a little bit of vegetable stuff.
That's great. Just calm down.
And you might want to mute up. You're in a Plays or Us.
Wait.
what?
Hey, yo.
In a what?
A Plays or Us. There's too much kids in the background.
Girl, that is not me. I'm in
Is
a
that Dawn?
college library. Yeah.
It is you.
No, I'm in a college library.
Wait, Dawn,
It's
mute up
definitely
real
not me.
It's you.
There are no children here. I can hear the children in Dawn's background.
That's crazy. Presumably, he's just referring to the people talking behind you.
Girl, but I can hear the children. Like I can hear literal children in your background noise.
Okay, you guys both have children in your background.
There's no children here. Oh my god.
Yeah, so
Oh wait, it's Mari. It's literally Mari.
Yeah, I'm just sitting outside at my college campus. I don't see any kids here. Actually, there's
I'm just in a
one.
playground, so it can't be me.
Oh my god, you're kidding. Okay,
Yeah,
so we found the culprit.
Mari, let's just refer
So
back
Wesleyan.
to your original argument.
well, that's the best one I got. That's the cosmological argument.
Wait,
You almost said combo logical.
just to be clear, that was not the cosmological argument you gave. At least not a
Also,
not a very common one.
What type of cosmological argument was that? What?
So cosmological argument, the universe is created, therefore God, or something like that.
Look, presumably
Yeah,
that's
something like that.
Something like that. Look, I can just be very charitable. The Kalam is a very famous cosmological argument. It goes something like this: everything that begins to exist has a cause. Premise 2, the universe began to exist. Conclusion, the universe has a cause. And then
Yeah, that
Craig is
was
going to
the
do more
argument
work.
I gave. That was literally the argument I
Look,
gave when I first came
Just to
in.
be clear, if you say the conclusion is God, that's actually not a valid inference. You still have to do more work there.
Not because when we mean God.
Look, here. I'll even be more charitable, and I'll give you the extension that Craig usually gives verbally. Craig will say something like this. Okay, conclusion 1 is the universe has a cause, and then he'll say something like premise 4. Now the cause of the universe is comprised of the same properties of the universe, or it's not. That's a true dichotomy. And then premise 5 is to give a reductio and say, well, look, if the cause of the universe was comprised of the same properties as the universe, then those things too would need to have a creator or be created. And in that sense, it leads to an infinite regress, which is metaphysically absurd. So by reductio, that option is false, which just leaves conclusion 2 that the cause of the universe is spaceless, timeless, immaterial, immensely powerful, and then that thing is what we call God.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for giving me the rundown.
Yeah. So I mean, if that's the argument, then like, premise 2 is just like obviously like, unsatisfied. It's unmotivated. Why should I believe that the universe has a cause?
Well, because the universe changes.
And
If the universe changes, therefore it had a cause.
look, you're not going to get from something changes, therefore it has a cause or it has a beginning.
Well, for it to move, there was a prime mover. If there's the prime mover,
Why would we believe that?
well, I mean, you believe that because nothing
Presumably
can
that
nothing
thing
can
that you're
change without a
saying-
cause. Like, can something change without a cause?
Wait, nothing can change without a cause. So is it like
So just to be clear,
it's
we're not
logically
saying that
impossible something
universe-
changes without a cause?
Oh yeah.
Okay, why would I think that? Like, is there a contradiction you could report?
Well, because for something to change, it entails cause.
Wait, I think this is,
That's just
by the way,
repeating
this is a
the
non sequitur, right? Remember, premise 2 in the Kalam is the universe began to exist. And then the conclusion is the universe has a cause, right? So if we're rejecting, or if we're saying premise 2 is unmotivated, we need to give a reason for why we should think here, the three of us, that the universe began to exist. That's what we're asking an argument for. So like, give us an argument, with some premises, an inference rule, and the conclusion is the universe began to exist.
Let's see, I don't really know, to be honest.
By the way, Mari, just pack your lunchbox next time you get schooled. I know that's corny and told me to make that joke.
Yeah, sure,
It's
whatever.
insane.
That's insane.
Mari, me personally, I wouldn't take that.
Yeah, she's saying that, but she set you up for the joke.
Girl, who is she? And what did I do?
By she, I just
She in the
mean
room with us?
by she. Look, whenever I just she by she, it's just supposed to locate any blonde person that's in my vicinity.
Look, Don, what he doesn't understand is that she's don't exist, he's don't exist. Zers don't
So,
exist.
right, so there's no X that's blonde and on my panel. See, and it's
We're
just a
just saying
sophist.
that, look, we can understand that that's what you mean, but it's just idiosyncratic, right? In typical language or common use language, or folk
Okay,
language,
well,
if you want to call it.
once you bring me the stats, I'm fine with signing off from that and welcome back the claim, which I never
actually,
made
we
the
do have
claim.
the stats.
But,
Actually, we do have the stats.
oh, sure.
Yeah. So there's a couple of gender philosophers we could name right now that have already done these empirical studies and ask people.
I don't believe
what
genders
they mean.
exist, so there's no gender
Okay, you wait.
philosophers.
Okay. All right,
You're
concession.
I'm eating that Mari soup.
Crazy.
That's
Look, Mari, if I were you, I would unmute and defend myself.
Well, I think I think I need to read more books, or I think I need to read a book, honestly.
Look, that's fine, but
You got the Bible.
I should just take it that as a result of this dialectic, you should walk away from this conversation either believing A, that abortion, isn't wrong because you failed to satisfy your burden of proof to show that it's wrong, or B, move from being pro-life to being agnostic about, abortion, since you weren't able to give an argument for why abortion is immoral.
All right. Well, I'm agnostic about pro-life now.
Oh,
Okay, that's great.
wait, are you serious? So I
Yeah.
don't.
Let's go.
We're not gonna.
Yeah.
You're not gonna do any more pro-life topics.
Nah,
No, as in you will, or
I won't. Not until I can
you
give an
lying?
argument. Nah, I'm not lying.
By the way,
I'm serious.
no, yeah, he's serious, but by won't he meant in any instance of time that's within an interval of 5 seconds. So he was faithful.
No, bro. No. I'm serious. Until I can give a good argument and substantiate my position and read up on it more, I'm not going to do any more lies.
You have to be able to change your life background to be something like this. Look, convince me why abortion is wrong, and then maybe
Wait,
somebody
what?
can convince me of the argument.
Either Mari was probed by an alien and replaced with someone else, or Dawn is like a neurosurgeon.
Yeah, no, I'm serious, bro. So,
Or you went to Anne's philosophy school and became a sophist.
Even argue.
Did Anne just unmute to say like robotic gibberish as she always does?
And by she there, you meant what?
Oh, by she I meant any blonde individual on my panel.
Okay, well, if that's what you mean, then I might
she
be
maps out
confused
on
about
Anne.
what blonde is.
Yeah, then you're just conceptually impoverished. Which is,
Look,
you
can
know.
you give an account of what blonde is
I said
as
Barney.
differentiated from like brunette?
Look, I know you don't want to run band for band, so you're asking for my bank account, but I'm not giving you my account. Wow. Really insightful,
So
Anne.
what he doesn't realize is that color also doesn't exist.
Wow, Anne is like spitting some like poetic
Well,
philosophy over there.
color definitely does
Let's see if
exist.
we can make Mari
I've seen it.
agnostic.
Oh, he left.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Come back, Mari.
Let's see if we can
Anyways,
trade
let's
after this.
continue to like the live and share the live and get someone else up here. If you guys are enjoying this Sophist circus that's on my panel, and I'm the non-Sophist ringleader, let's try and get some other people who would wager they can perform more sophistic than my performers on the panel. Thank you.
Don, do you remember that time that I told Liam that objectivism is just poetry for Phil Bros?
I remember that.
I just thought that was funny. Pretty relevant right now.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
kind of
yeah. I
obvious,
mean,
to be honest.
all of the Randian stuff is just, let me shut my mouth. I'm a feminist.
Yeah, the Randian
This
stuff
is why women
uh,
shouldn't do philosophy.
That's a
women
crazy
don't
statement.
exist, so
That's right. That's right. Okay, so
are you
Kason
playing
in the
cookie
comments.
clicker over there?
Kason said he's going to join the panel and prove God exists. Can
I
we
tried
get
to invite
Kason?
him.
Can we get Kason on the panel real quick?
Exist. What does that even mean, Pippi?
Let's try and get Kason up here. I can't invite him. I don't know why. Make a request though. Wait, does Don
Okay,
have
so
mod?
Don.
No. Don
Okay, that's good.
Non-modded.
there you go.
Until you
invited him.
walk back the One Piece claim, then you're down to have mod.
Look, it's
Trey has mod,
technically
though, right?
virtuous to only talk about truth.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't have dishonest mods. So
I don't know what you mean by that.
I know you're
Okay,
so semantically impoverished. You don't know what anything means.
Hello?
And your
What's good?
parade is still going on. You get a mute.
Girl, whatever.
How's it going, monkey boy?
What's up? What topic here you want to talk about? I'm sorry my sexy face isn't in the camera. My phone has to charge, so I have to lay it down. But yeah, what topic here you want to talk about? The atheism or pro-choice?
Atheism.
Sure, you think I should believe God
Wait, actually,
exists?
no. I'm sorry. No, I'd rather talk about you being pro-choice.
Sure, you're
Okay.
pro-lifer, right? You think I should believe that aborting a fetus is like immoral?
I think that unaliving a human is immoral under most circumstances, except for a few. Like if it's self-defense, it's fine.
Okay, what about a human without personhood?
They're still a human, so I would say that's wrong.
So it's still immoral. Okay, and by a human, how is a human? Is a sperm a human?
No.
Okay, so then what do you mean by human?
The moment an egg and sperm meet, like conception, that's the human right there.
Okay, so you're just saying you value what, like a fetus? A fetus, it's always immoral to unalive anything that's a fetus or in higher development?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't share those values, but I'm interested. So after, wait, what? No, what you meant by human is when a sperm and an egg meet. Okay, what about like a lizard fetus? Is that wrong to abort?
A lizard fetus?
Yeah, or at least a lizard egg and sperm combined.
What, like a reptile?
Yeah, like an iguana.
I don't care about them.
Wait, but by human, you just meant whenever the egg and sperm combined. So under that view, is it immoral to abort a lizard egg and sperm that combined? Because that's still a human.
Is it?
Yeah, under your account. By human, when I asked you what you mean by human, you just meant the combination of an egg and a sperm.
Oh, they broke it down further. Male and female.
Yeah,
Human.
so, yeah, but by human, you meant the combination of an egg and a sperm. So I'm saying a
Human
female
species.
egg of, and what does human species mean?
What does lizard mean? I don't know what you mean by lizard.
I'm just using it in like some folk sense that presumably like the standard biology would describe.
Yeah, well, I'm just using human in like the standard sense that biology describes.
But the thing is, I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure how it is the standard biologist defined it. And I think this scrutiny is required to evaluate the moral claim that's being made.
Well, I'm not sure what the difference is between a lizard and a human. Which could
So then how do you know, wait, if you don't know the difference between a lizard and a human, how can you say it's not immoral to abort a lizard fetus?
I don't know what you mean by when you say lizard, so I can't answer that question.
Well, you did answer that earlier. You said no, because it's not human. And then I said by human, you meant what? And then I showed you how your initial definition of human was an egg and a sperm. And
No,
then
I
now
just
you're
said I
just
don't
saying,
care about lizards. Whatever you think a lizard is. I mean, unless you can prove to me that there's other creatures that's different. I don't know what a lizard is.
look, I'm trying to understand. You're saying it's immoral to abort a human. And by human,
Yeah.
you mean what?
You know what I mean.
That's not an answer to the question.
No, you know what I mean. You know exactly
Okay,
what I
but
mean.
what is a human supposed to be?
Fine, you want me to get real deep? Fine, I'll do it. I'll play this little game. A human is a mammal made in the image of God. So we're the embodiment of the creator.
Okay, a mammal made in the image of God. I don't believe there's anything in the image of God.
Of course you wouldn't, because you're an atheist. So there's no point of dissecting my argument. If you
So
don't
look,
believe it.
if your abortion case hinges on the existence of God, then it just seems like preliminarily we would have to discuss the existence of God, like prior to delving into these types of theological ethics.
Just
We would have
but
to
you're gonna,
establish this strong philosophy of religion claim you're making that God exists, which is parasitic on your ethical view. So
But
like,
you
do you
don't-
maybe have reasons for me to believe that God exists?
but you don't want to believe the evidence is out there. You don't even know what a human is. So it's going to be.
I want to believe. Well, I don't know what your semantics on a human is, but look,
Well, you don't
I
know
just
what
want
it
to believe anything that's true, and you're saying that it's true the proposition God exists, and that proposition is required for you to make ethical evaluations, right? So I just want to know what's the argument God exists.
Yeah, I mean, if I can't convince you that humans are real and you don't know what a human is, how can I convince you that the Lord is around us?
Well, that's just not an answer to my question. What's the argument God
Oh, no, I'm
exists?
just saying that there's no explaining things to stupid people. You can't win an
Okay, I can
argument.
grant you that. But what's the argument God exists is what I asked. What's the argument?
The world around us is the argument God exists.
The world around us isn't an argument. It's a noun.
It's an argument you don't like, but it's an argument.
That's not an argument.
Yeah, it is.
It's a noun.
No, it's not.
The world
Existence
around
itself
us is
is
a
an
noun.
argument. Well, you're an atheist, so you
Existence
don't
itself.
understand the argument.
Look, the word existence is a noun. Nouns aren't arguments.
Calm down. Calm down. It's not that serious.
Okay, can you just like not be cringe? Look, you understand how a noun is not a proposition?
I'm giving you an argument. You're just not engaging with it. You just don't like it.
You said your argument is existence. Existence is a noun, correct?
That and argument.
Look, maybe let's just
No,
be very
nouns.
clear.
We agree. Nouns aren't propositions, right? In standard like linguistics.
No, I disagree.
Look, the
Okay,
one
so
thing
what?
Knox,
So what do you
if
mean
you're
by
giving-
proposition?
Look, if you're giving an argument, maybe you can just tell us what you mean by an argument. That way we can track. We might be thinking about argument in a different sense than you are.
Yeah, I mean
So
obviously.
are you like, are you not human or something? Are you like an alien?
By
Or
argument, we just mean a series of reasons that infers a conclusion. Like, if you want, I could give you an example. Maybe an example is if it's raining, then the floor is wet. Right? That's one chain of reason. Second chain of reason is that it's raining, and from those two chains of reasons, we can infer, therefore, the floor is wet.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm asking for. Existence is not one of those. If you're
No, it
using the word proposition or reason as standardly used in logic, then no, the word existence is not a proposition.
But it is. You just don't like it.
No. Do you see how I used proposition in the example?
You use the like a
If
worldview.
it's
like
raining, then the floor is wet. I didn't refer to
that's
worldview.
worldview.
That's not referring to worldview.
Hmm?
That's not referring to worldview.
No, that's your atheist. That's your atheist like view of it.
We're not talking about. We're not talking about.
When I say
anything
existence,
atheistic.
like, you're not tapped into like a divine command, so you don't really know what the argument is.
Do you know what nouns
That's
are?
what I was saying. Like it's pointless. It's pointless
Do you
to
know
have
what
the
nouns are
argument
in
because like
English?
you wouldn't understand it.
Yeah, let's not do meta. Do you know what a noun is in English?
Exactly. Let's not do meta. Let's not tell the truth.
Can you answer that question?
Because you refuse to see the truth.
Can you stop dodging the
Let's
question?
not see the truth. What question? What's your question?
Do you know what a noun is in English?
Yeah.
Okay. And you understand how a noun and proposition are different. They're different linguistic states.
How?
A verb is not a verb's not a proposition. A noun's not a proposition. A noun's not a verb. A proposition's not a verb.
Why?
Look, I think it's very. It's
okay,
very.
he's obviously just showing.
Yeah, it's very intuitive.
The
People
concern is why
understand
is not.
basic
No, look,
language.
it's not.
You don't know what a
Let's
human
look.
is.
Let's just say. Let's just say I don't have an
What?
answer to the question of why. We're not. Right now, what we're not concerned
Buddy,
with
you don't
is
know what a
why
human
a
is,
noun.
apparently.
Not.
You didn't
we're
know
not
what I meant by
concerned with-
human. Now I'm
we're
the
not-
one trolling.
What we're not concerned with is why is a noun not a verb. The point is, I'm asking you in standard English. Do you understand how a verb and a noun and a proposition are three different things?
No, I don't understand it.
Well, look,
You want to talk with this R word?
look. It might be the case that you just haven't studied English in any formal setting. Right, that's fine.
I mean, you guys don't know what a human is. I mean, it's.
If you scroll up in the chat, you can find it somewhere where I typed.
And look, we're just gonna completely move past that. You don't know what a human
Look,
is.
I'm gonna go back to that here in a second. But if you scroll up in the chat, you might
You
be able
guys
to find.
are serious. This
Yeah,
is
you might be
crazy.
able to find the syntactic
You're not.
conditions.
There's
for a
no way you're
proposition.
real. This is
Um,
not. You're not
But
here for a real.
yeah.
discussion.
So now that you know that the kind of syntactic formula for a proposition is in the chat, we're asking you, what do you mean by human? Because people who are theists, presumably are Christian. People who are Christians like you have different notions of what a human is. So it's a very reasonable question to ask you.
I told you what a human is.
Yeah, what was it?
An embodiment of God.
Oh, okay.
And I asked what the
yeah,
argument
that's
was for the existence of God, and then that's when he got into the stupid pejoratives about, you don't know what the word human means. Look, do you have an argument for the existence of God?
Very, very clear.
To be
This
clear,
is
that's
like
when we got into
why
the
we
argument
ask.
being the word existence.
Yeah, you don't understand the argument because you're not Christian.
But
just
that's
to
just
be-
not an argument.
Look, to be
It's one that
very,
you don't like, but it's still an argument.
very clear
No,
with
it's
this
just
kind of
not an argument.
dialectic. Do you understand? How
Yeah,
your
it's an
answer
argument.
for what a human is just very different than what most people talk about.
You broke up for a second. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. I said. So, do you understand how your answer for what a human is just very different than what most people mean by human?
No.
Yeah. Okay, so that's just to say that you don't have, a very, very foundational, understanding of biology, right? When we talk about humans, we're talking about a specific, gene sequence in which produces a set of, individuals or organisms that share a certain amount of traits and have the ability to interbreed with each other. That's what we mean by human, right? But that's a kind of species.
Repeat that.
notion of
Wait.
human.
Repeat that, Don. What's a human?
Yeah, a human is just an individual that has a specific set of, a specific DNA sequence of a certain group of animals that we know. You might be able to refer to them ostensibly in the world. Ones that have different kinds of languages, ones that, fly in airplanes and drive cars. Those kinds of things are human. And then we're just talking about what is a human. It's just the things like that share DNA. And by share, that's just one condition.
that share DNA. What's this
one
DNA?
condition? One condition is that they must share a set of specific DNA sequences. The other condition is that they
What
have
is
the
it?
ability to interbreed with each other.
Oh, so if my sperm count sucks. If I get rid of my sperm, I'm not a human anymore.
What?
If I tighten my nuts and I can't shoot sperm in a girl anymore,
Do you
does that
think
mean
that's
I'm not
what's meant by interbreed?
I don't know what you mean because
Okay, well, you should have asked that question
Your
first.
definition's too vague.
Look, this is the
Definition's too vague. I
definition.
don't
Yeah,
fly
if
airplanes.
what you mean by vague is just that you don't understand foundational biology that's fine, and I can like school you on some of those things, but you should ask the question instead of just assuming. So if you want to know what
No, I'm
interbreeding
asking a
is,
question to
yeah, if you
clarify.
want to know what interbreeding is a condition or a conditionalized kind of statement where you want to talk about certain organisms that have gametes. You want to talk about whether those gametes can, produce a fertile offspring between two individuals. And so we already know that when we talk about interbreeding, biologists are talking about stuff within the same genus already. So for us, that's people, or that's organisms within the genus of Homo, right? We know if we're the same species, if the members of the Homo genus can produce a fertile offspring with each other. And then,
Real quick side note.
So
Dawn, you're in the
If a
Homo
woman's
category.
incapable of
yeah, that's
being
correct. I
pregnant,
am.
she's not human anymore.
I'm talking about the one. The one is in the Homo category.
Oh yeah, he is. Yeah, he is as well.
Slay. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, Dawn, if a woman has they don't have the ability to be pregnant, that's not a
Where
human.
did I reference the ability to be pregnant? Did you ever
It's a
hear that
question.
term
The
come out of
one's
my
really
mouth?
good at tracking.
No, I didn't. It's a question.
Okay, well, wait.
I'm just
So
asking
just
you
to
if
be
you
clear, the question is not relevant to the dialectic if the question is not about a term I used.
It's just a simple yes or no question. I'm just curious.
Look, the question is just not going to be answered because there's no
I'm very
relevancy.
insecure about your definition.
Insecure about? I don't even know what that means.
Yeah, because you're not answering a simple question.
I don't know why I would need to answer that
I
question.
don't know what a
The
human
one is
is.
very intelligent.
Yes, very
Oh, I know.
extremely.
I know. It's the first time you had an intelligent person on the live all night.
Yeah, like I'm around. I think I took an
Yeah,
IQ
like
test.
you
I'm
don't know what a
140.
human is. Yeah.
I'm 140, but you're also like 14 plus
You
to
don't
zero.
know what God
IQ.
is if you don't know what like a human is.
Okay, and by know there you mean what? That I don't have like a justified
You don't know what a
belief?
human is. Oh, do
Yeah,
you
but
know
what do you
what
mean by
no
know there?
means? Allow education what no means. No means you have
Okay,
the
go ahead.
intelligence, the knowledge. It's short for knowledge.
By know there you mean I have the
Do you
knowledge.
know
What
what
does
knowledge
there
means?
mean?
Do you know what
Yeah, as
knowledge
I
means?
use it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
The way I
essentially
use
it's when
it.
you gather information in your mind. That's pretty much it's gathered information. Do you know what information means? Or do I gotta break
You're,
it down more for you?
I take it back. You're more like
More
like
I'm like
1
what?
plus 4
I'm
plus
like smarter
0
than you?
IQ.
Yeah, way smarter than you. I know what a human is. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, have fun at class, Dawn. You need that class after losing the brain cells.